Greetings, folks. Just turn it down a fraction. So I'm hiding from a baby shower today, being the only male in the house, and I thought I'd share something with you with regard to PokerTracker4. Now, I play with PokerTracker4 most of the time, and there are things that I take for granted that you might not be using. So at the moment, I'm just playing 2 tables on PokerStars at 2NL, and they're just ordinary games. One's a 9 table and one's a 6 max. Pretty unremarkable. I've just joined these tables, and they're just the usual tables that you're used to seeing. What I'm wanting to show you is the difference between playing with or without PokerTracker4 as a heads-up display. So I'm going to play for a little while without a heads-up display and just see what happens. This is probably an environment that you're pretty much used to if you're not using a HUD. So the only thing that's not normal from a HUD perspective, or from a PokerStars game, or any table for that matter, is that you'll see the odd color around here. Now, that is simply where I've got notes, or I've identified a player's style, typically when I've been using PokerTracker4. So if I just have a look around, you can't see a hell of a lot of anything other than just a normal game. This one's blue, this person from Canada. I've identified them as a shark, I think. Let me just check that color. No, sorry, as a nit. Also this one over here. This one, you'll see there's a note there. So if I click on that, there's a note there saying that that person called a 2-bet from the blinds with a range of Queen 10 off. Now that note actually came from PokerTracker. What's happened is that I copied it from the PokerTracker HUD into the note area on PokerStars for exactly the reason that sometimes you don't play with a HUD. But if I come across those players, I'll still be able to access any information that I've copied across. So this guy Pedro up here. So if I click on that, no, that's actually old data that I collected manually back in the day before I started using PokerTracker4. One down here, Alberto Luis, he's just joined the table. Got also, he called a 2-bet from the blinds in a range of 9-3 suited. It's pretty loose. And also, on one hand, played the turn draw aggressively. I've got another person just joined, and there I've got quite a bit of information on this person. I don't know how many hands I've got from them, but I can see they've played 3-bet range with Jack-9 suited, 4-bet range Ace-King off, and called a 2-bet from the blinds, defending their blinds with 6-5 off. Fairly aggressive, and I've got them coloured red, which is my colour for a lag, so that sort of fits with that as well. And here's another one that's come along. Oh, this one we just looked at. On the other table, I've also got information on 2 players. I've got identified as a reg, and if I click on them, called a 2-bet from the blinds with a range of 8 Jack suited, I would have too. That's all good, but they are a reg, so you expect that. And strictly poker, called 3 bets out of position with King 10 off. So that's certainly not a passive game. So basically, this is your conventional style of play anywhere, and there's nothing unusual about it, right? We'll just play a couple more hands, and then I'm going to call PokerTracker4, and we're going to see some changes. The key thing I wanted to show here is that this is basically as good as it gets, other than the fact that you can record stuff. And what I used to do, Where was that one that I had information? No, I'm not going to be able to find it, am I? If they disappeared. You saw perhaps that I had just some, yeah, they've gone. Some hand names. I can't remember what they were, but basically it might be King Jack S for King Jack suited or something like that. And I used to get really busy while I was playing, or as soon as the game finished, having a look at what information I could collect from a player who had got to the river and I was able to see their hands. Now, something I want to draw your attention to here is how many times have you seen someone's hands at all while I've been playing this game? Possibly zero, other than mine. And that's because PokerTracker doesn't show that. If people muck their cards, they disappear and that's it. And if poker is a game of information, we actually don't have very much information to base our decisions on, particularly if I'd never played these people before and didn't have any color coding on them at all. So all we're basically doing is playing by position and reacting to what people do within the hand. And that's pretty much what you do if you're playing live, right? Except that if you're playing in a casino or a bar, you can look at people's faces and their hands, and are they shaking their legs under the table or looking around nervously or trying not to blink or something so that you can't see what's going on. But fundamentally, you don't get much information. So if you're playing a game that is all about information and you don't have much, then you're missing out on lots of opportunities. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn on PokerTracker4, my favorite heads-up display, and we're going to start seeing something quite different. And this is where you can get yourself an unfair advantage. Now, I'm going to leave a link in the information about this video in the text, and that link is to PokerTracker4. It's an affiliate link, which means that if you try it for free, which is the first option that you get, then that's great. If you then try it and decide to buy it, you'll get the same price as you would have otherwise, but I get a little thank you from them for introducing you to the product. And if I've helped you in any way with these videos, then that's just a nice little thank you and encouragement for me to keep making more videos. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click a button on PokerTracker4 saying get hands while playing. And there we go. Suddenly we're starting to see a lot more information. Look at all that information. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you all the information that you were missing out on before when you're just playing the ordinary game. And we'll start off just looking at the mucked hands, because when you get to the river and you've got the HUD going, even though someone's said they're mucking their hands, PokerTracker knows what they are and will show them to you. So hopefully I'll be able to show you that in a minute. So that's the first benefit, is you get to see what hands they mucked. You will also have PokerTracker4 taking notes for you, so you can actually recall what they played without having to write anything down yourself. So hopefully we're not river with a mucked hand yet. Hopefully we'll see that shortly. go that way. And there's something else while we're waiting for that that you don't see normally, is whether people are winning players or losing players. So you'll see with me, for example, that if I lose, here we go. Here in a sec. Here we go. Once this person plays, as long as this person calls, yep, here we go. So we can see there, Queen Jack, they've mucked, and S3. You would never have known that if you didn't have a HUD. Almost feels a bit like cheating, doesn't it? Because you can actually see what's going on. So what's really important about this is that lots of people are actually using PokerTracker4 while they're playing. And that means they're seeing that information about you and other players they're playing. And if you don't have the HUD, you're not seeing that information. So they've actually got a lot more information than you have. And that gives them an unfair advantage, if you like. It's unfair if you don't take advantage of the opportunity yourself. So head on over to that link in the text and you can try PokerTracker4 for free. And if you then agree with me that it's worth having for a not hugely expensive price, certainly a great investment, you can be using PokerTracker4 and getting all this information yourself. Now the HUD or the heads-up display, all these numbers here, this is information in a way that I've set it up for myself. So all the color coding, everything else is basically my work, but PokerTracker4 comes with a number of standard HUDs. So don't worry about how to set it up if you've never had one before. You can work out how to do that, or you can use existing ones to get you started, which have all the basic information that you could want. And then as you become more of a power user, you can either buy HUDs that are set up or learn how to use them and how to set them up yourself and get the information that's relevant either to your game or to the way that you're playing the game at the moment, i.e. if you're focusing on particular aspects of the game, then you have the ability to set things that are specifically relevant to your game, and that will help you focus on those elements. So if you're looking at a particular aspect of your game, like blinds or blind stealing or three betting or whatever it is that's of value to you, perhaps related to training or videos that you're watching or something like that, then you can grab just what you need. So let's have a look at what information I've got here. So first of all, I wait until I've got at least 20 hands on a player before I take records about them, as in the trend that they're playing. So this person up here, up there, I've got 21 hands on, so that beats my minimum threshold. Their VPIP is 60 to 35. That's very aggressive, very laggy, and basically a maniac. I call them sharks. So if I click on that, I click on the button that says sharks. That's now colored blue. I double click on this one and hold that down there out of the way, and we'll have another look at that in a sec. Just to play that hand. I'm often guilty when I'm doing game tapes of being so busy talking that I'm missing what's going on in the game. And I'm just hoping no one's got an ace on that one, and obviously I'm going to have to go over there and play as well in a second. So this is going to be a, there we go, those. Okay, so if they've got an ace, I'm going to lose that one. Let's see, let's find out, ask the question. No, we didn't have an ace. Cool, and here I'm going to be a bit more aggressive, fold that one, one's coming with me there. Okay, now I'll deal with that first. So I had this thing here, and I just want to do the same thing. I want to color that blue for my shark. And down here, you'll see there's some information there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on that. That opens up the standard PokerStars notes page. I'm going to, oops, I'm going to fold. I'm going to copy and paste that. So copy there, oops, save, get rid of that, and paste it in there. So that means now if I don't have PokerTracker4 for some reason, and one reason is they only let you play with the entry level application a certain amount of hours at a time, and then you have to log off for half an hour and then you can come back again. Now when I say hours, I'm talking hours like I'm typically playing 3 tables, and I don't think I've ever been stopped from using it if I was only playing 1 table. And the most common thing which they don't like, and it's dictated by the actual places that you play. So if you go and feed the dog or something and you leave the tables going, so you're collecting data but you're not actually playing, they limit the number of times you can do that. So I've collected information on that one. The other thing that I wanted to show you, I was talking before about whether a player's a winning player. So I always set my the amount of money that I've got to auto, if I lose a hand, to automatically go back to 100 blinds. So in a 2NL that would be $2. And that's so that I can maximize the opportunity to go all in if I want to, and get at least the minimum 100 big blinds off someone if they want to call me. Also, I think it looks unprofessional, and I often look for tables where people don't have 100 big blinds because it tells me that they're not very experienced. But because it automatically goes back to the 100 big blinds, or the $2 in this case, you don't know whether that person has lost hands or has just started or whatever, because it's still just showing $2. And so I've got a number down the bottom here which actually tells me whether they're winning or losing. So this person here is a classic example. I've got them as a tight aggressive player, which is why I've colored them purple. We'll have a look at their notes. We'll just click on that and see what information I've got. I've previously called them a tag. 3-bet range is kings, which you'd expect. I'm just going to paste that over there. Called 2-bet from blinds, king 10, that's fine. But what this says here is that they're actually minus $3. If I hover over that, it's telling me 2 things. I'll just back over there. It's telling me when I hover, there's 2 numbers there. Value is minus $3.09. What that tells me is all the games that I've ever played against this player where I've collected information out of the 76, they've lost $3.09. But then you'll see there it also says this session, that's today. So today they've lost, they just won a hand there, they've lost 44 cents today. So out of all the times I've played them, they're a losing player at $3, and today they've lost 44 cents. That's really valuable because I can't tell that from seeing $2 up there. They could be a really good player. They're not playing badly. I guess they've been a bit unlucky. But I wouldn't know that information. What else do I know about them? The information here again is their overall ratings as well as the session. So overall they played 22% of hands. I'll just play a hand here. So I want to be playing poker as well. And just see what happens here. Okay. 22% of hands. Today, 42% of hands, so they're playing way more aggressive than they normally do. Or playing, sorry, way more hands than they normally do. The pre-flop raises there says 15%. If I hover over that, generally 15%, but this game they've been playing 27%. So again, they're playing a lot more aggressively today than they normally do. Now, sometimes people play more aggressively because the way a table plays, and it's something that I think's maybe underlooked by some people, that you really do need a very large stat to truly understand the way a person's playing and to not get the wrong idea. And of course, if you play a particular level of game, like if you always play 2NL, for example, you're going to start coming across the same people many times, and that's where this tool really comes into its own. Because if you look over here, for example, I've got someone here in Solemn who I've now played 231 hands with. And I can assure you that wasn't all today. So this session, I've only played 21 hands. So I've got 200 hands from previous times that I've played against that player, and that comes back to me. So when I'm looking at that 31-21, that's really indicative of how that person plays overall, as opposed to a style that they're playing today because of the way that particular table's working. So other information I've got on my HUD, how often they 3-bet, so that's probably once for this person. Let's have a look. No, twice, none today. Twice out of 33 opportunities where they could 3-bet, they've done it. So they're pretty passive. And next one is continuation bet. So 75% of the time, if they do, they will actually continuation bet. That's 3 out of 4 times when they've bet, and it's any bet. It's not just necessarily a 3-bet. Fold to flop continuation bet. 50% of the time, if someone continuation bets, they'll fold. That tells me that they're reasonably aware of watching how people play. Fold to pre-flop raise, 79%. That's not bad. They've won 10% of hands since I've been monitoring them. And again, if I hover over that, it's 10% in general. Today it's 16%. So their increased aggression is actually paying them dividends. And an attempt to steal, 27%. And there's another stat that you can see up here that you can't see just on the screen here, because I've got two tables sitting next to each other, and that's the raise first in. So I can't show you. Actually, if I drag this across, I can. So the raise. Well, no, I still can't show you. Back. A bit of set mining there. And so once I've got this set up and I've got players that I'm monitoring up to that minimum of 20 hands, I'm going to go around each table and just make sure that I'm recording information and bringing information into PokerStars, as well as the information being collected in PokerTracker4. So this hand's pretty much shot. I don't think my pocket fives are going to go anywhere. So up here, I've got this person from Peru. Before they were a shark, and I'm happy with that. 37 hands, nothing else to do there. They haven't changed. This person here, 2611, I'd call that a fish at first glance. And so I'm going to click on that, color it green, which is hidden under there. Double click on there, click on this box. I'll just move it out of the way. I should have made the screen bigger so that I could show you this. In fact, I'll do that next video. So I'm going to click that and make it green. And I'm going to copy this information, save, and put it in here so that it'll be there if I'm not using PokerTracker4. This person hasn't got to 20, and using my discipline, I'm not going to record anything yet. but I'm pretty sure when I get to 20, the stats aren't going to have changed much because of the style of play. There's that mucked card. You would not be seeing that if you didn't have PokerTracker4. You wouldn't know what they actually had. 44.33, definitely laggy. Also minus $2, so they're losing money here. And so that's good to know as well. I'll come back to that. So here we go, back the blue 86. 38.4, that's a calling station, reasonably successful one today. So I'm just going to click on that box as well and record them as a calling station, and that's all I need to know. This one's 11 hands, nothing. Here, Gilson RT 42.8, that's a calling station, click. You'll note it said whale there as well. I use the same colors for whale and calling station because it's easy to tell them apart, and there's only so many colors that you can realistically use. So I'm going to again click on that. You'll see there I've got a truckload of information, so I'll move that out of the way for a sec. Double click on that, it opens up the box down there. You can't see what I'm doing, but I'm just changing that to the light blue. Now there's a shortcut to get that information there. I go Control A for all, that highlights it all. I go Control C for copy, save. Now if I go over here, all I need to do is Control V, and all that information is now sitting in that box there so that it can be looked at more quickly and easily while I'm playing. So I've got a 3-bet range of pocket jacks, called 2-bet from blinds 10-7, ace-3, so they're pretty loose there in defending their blinds. Called 3 bets in position with ace-2 off, that's pretty aggressive. Limped and called a raise with 10-9, so they probably got a 10 or a 9 on the flop. Donked flop with top pair or better. So see all that information. Now I haven't had to collect any of that manually. All of that's been collected for me by PokerTracker4. Isn't that awesome? Okay, so that's that one. Up here, I've got information about this guy. There's a lag, that's all good. So all I need to do is hover there. I can see I've got something. Okay, he had pocket aces. I'll just hover here and I'll see there's quite a bit more information. So again, I'm going to open that up. We'll pop it out of the way. We'll call that one. Maybe not a great opportunity, but that's all right. I'll check it. And I'm going to collect that information and just make sure I'm putting it in the right place. There we go. So if you're doing multi-tabling and you're moving those boxes away from the actual table you're playing on, which I do quite often because of the configuration of 2 monitors that I use, you need to make sure that you are recording the information against the correct player. Okay, so that's this guy. This person's played 28 hands. They're losing. They haven't done anything proactive at all. They haven't. They're basically either not there, maybe they're watching the game, but they have lost something, 10 cents. So I'm just going to put them down as a nit until they prove me otherwise. Do the same up there. Just color that indigo as my nit color. This one here I had as a nit, still playing as a nit. That's all good. This one we talked about. Down here, Alberto Luis, we looked at him before as well. That's all fine. Okay, so that's sort of a whirlwind. I'm going to, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop getting hands. And look what's happened. All that information's gone. I no longer have access to that information, and that's where we started the information that you didn't have when you started playing. So now we're having to play with a lot less information. I've still got the color coding that I took when I was using PokerTracker4, so I've got that benefit, and I've still got the notes that I took. Here we go. So these are all the notes that I collected from PokerTracker4. Another reason why this might be important to you is, if you ever play on an iPad or a tablet or a smartphone, you can't use PokerTracker4 with your games on those devices. It has to be a laptop. I don't know exactly why. I guess it's they don't support integration, whereas in a computer you can access that information. So again, if I was playing on my iPad or on my phone, the only information that I'd see here would be information that I'd actually manually collected while I was playing on that device, or information that I'd stored that I'd collected previously from PokerTracker4. So that means that if you are transferring information, you'll have access to it. If you aren't transferring information from PokerTracker4, then you've lost that capability. So hopefully you can see the significant difference between using it and not using it. If you've forgotten, let me turn it back on again, and it'll actually collect the hands that, because I haven't actually turned it off, I just wasn't collecting them. Here we go, it's all back again. It's continued to collect information from those hands that were happening when I wasn't collecting, because I didn't actually switch it off. You will also notice that now these boxes, that one's alright, these boxes are in the wrong place because I've been away. As soon as I play a hand, they'll come back into the right location and everything will be hunky-dory. So I'm going to leave it there. As I said to you, there's a link, and if you click on that link, it will take you to PokerTracker4, and you can get yourself a free trial and see what you think. I'm up for any comments that you might like to leave, and hopefully you've found this information helpful. So we'll just tell it that I'm going to stop after these hands. There we go. Just finish this one. And there we go. We're done. Thank you for watching. Hope you found it interesting and informative. And we'll see you again. Ciao.